I'm Jordan Ehst, co-owner of Ehst Systems and Controls, and I know you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to talk about things that are personal or spiritual in a business context, but I decided that I'm going to do it because I want to talk about something that is core to who I am and what I'm about. And it affects the way that I interact with my employees, with my work, with my family, with my competitors, even with my enemies. I am a Christian. And I know that when some of you hear that word, you may experience feelings of anger or frustration or pain. You may have experienced abuse, anger. You may have experienced hypocrisy from people claiming to be Christians. And for that, I am deeply sorry. And I am frustrated by the reality that people claiming to be Christians have acted unlike Jesus Christ. Christian literally means adhering to, being shaped to Christ, being in the reality of who Christ was. Christ being a mentor, a model, a chief shaper of your life and reality. So I ask your permission to talk about what being a Christian means to me. I design, build, program machines for a living. And when we design a machine, we design it to function in a certain way. We design it to work a certain way, to be interacted with by operators in a certain way. And sometimes when I go on the field and see a machine operating, I discover that the operators are using it in a way that it was not intended. And that usually results in something breaking, something malfunctioning, something jamming. God designed the world to work in a certain way, but He made us free to choose how we would live in the world. And if we look around us, we see that lots of people, including ourselves really, if we're honest, are not living in the world the way that God designed the world for us to live in. And the result of that is we're stuck in a mess of overreaction and addiction, of hurting other people, of abuse, of hurting ourselves. God, seeing our mess, sent His Son Jesus to live on the earth and show us exactly what it looks like to live as a perfect human being. And Jesus did that, and He became the model and example that we can adhere to, that we can be like. And Jesus not only lived a perfect life, but He suffered the reality of human life. Even though He was perfect, He died. But being perfect, He rose from the dead. He overcame death. And as we adhere ourselves to Him, as we link our destiny to His, we too are able to experience the hope that death will not hold us. For me, what it means to be a Christian, to be a follower of Jesus, is to mold myself to Him, to put my hope and my trust in Him. And I've found that as I've done that, He begins to change and transform me, to perfect me into the person that I was made to be in the beginning. He begins to shape me so that I actually act in accordance with how God made the world to work. Jesus repeated God's command to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your mind, with all of yourself. And that's what it looks like to be a person living perfectly in accordance with how God made the world. He also said, love your neighbor as yourself. And so what it means for me to be a Christian is to every day seek to live out those two commandments. And Jesus helps me to do that perfectly as I grow closer and closer to Him. I look more and more like Him, who did it perfectly. So maybe this all sounds weird or unscientific or unprofessional to you, and I get that. But this is something that is deeply meaningful to me. It's at the core of my reality. And if you're curious, if you want to know more, I'm happy to talk about it. Thank you.